gorgeous beings. Welcome back to Shelter in the Storm with A Course in Miracles lesson 129. We are on to chapter 8, The Journey Back, and we are beginning to read part 1, The Direction of the Curriculum. Knowledge is not the motivation for learning this course. Peace is. This is the prerequisite for knowledge, only because those who are in conflict are not peaceful, and peace is the condition of knowledge, because it is the condition of the kingdom. Knowledge can be restored only when you meet its conditions. This is not a bargain made by God, who makes no bargains. It is merely the result of your misuse of his laws on behalf of an imaginary will that is not his. Knowledge is his will. If you are opposing his will, how can you have knowledge? I have told you what knowledge offers you, but perhaps you do not yet regard this as wholly desirable. If you did, you would not be so ready to throw it away when the ego asks for your allegiance. The distractions of the ego may seem to interfere with your learning, but the ego has no power to distract you unless you give it the power to do so. The ego's voice is an hallucination. You cannot expect it to say, "I am not real." Yet you are not asked to dispel your hallucinations alone. You are merely asked to evaluate them in terms of their results to you. If you do not want them on the basis of loss of peace, they will be removed from your mind for you. Every response to the ego is a call to war, and war does deprive you of peace. Yet, in this war there is no opponent. There is the reinterpretation of reality that you must make to secure peace, and the only one you need ever make. Those whom you perceive as opponents are part of your peace, which you are giving up by attacking them. How can you have what you give up? You share to have, but you do not give it up yourself. When you give up peace, you are excluding yourself from it. This is a condition so alien to the kingdom that you cannot understand the state that prevails within it. Your past learning must have taught you the wrong things, simply because it has not made you happy. On this basis alone, its value should be questioned. If learning aims at change, and that is always its purpose, are you satisfied with the changes your learning has brought you? Dissatisfaction with learning outcomes is a sign of learning failure, since it means that you did not get what you wanted. Okay, let's leave the text there for today, and let's move along now to lesson 129. Beyond this world, there is a world I want. This is the thought that follows from the one we practiced yesterday. You cannot stop with the idea the world is worthless, for unless you see that there is something else to hope for, you will only be depressed. Our emphasis is not on giving up the world, but on exchanging it for what is far more satisfying, filled with joy, and capable of offering you peace. Think you this world can offer you that to you? It might be worth a little time to think once more about the value of this world. Perhaps you will concede there is no loss in letting go all thought of value here. The world you see is merciless indeed, unstable, cruel, unconcerned with you, quick to avenge the pitiless with hate. It gives but to rescind, and takes away all things that you have cherished for a while. No lasting love is found, for none is here. This is the world of time, where all things end. Is it a loss to find a world instead where losing is impossible? Where love endures forever, hate cannot exist, and vengeance has no meaning? Is it loss to find all things you really want, and know they have no ending, and they will remain exactly as you want them throughout time? Yet even they will be exchanged at last for what we cannot speak of. For you go from there to where words fail entirely, into a silence where the language is unspoken and yet surely understood. Communication, unambiguous and plain as day, remains unlimited for all eternity. And God Himself speaks to His Son, as His Son speaks to Him. Their language has no words, for what they say cannot be symbolized. Their knowledge is direct and wholly shared and wholly one. How far away from this are you, who stay bound to this world? And yet how near are you when you exchange it for the world you want? Now is the last step certain. Now you stand an instant space away from timelessness. Here can you but look forward, never back, to see again the world you do not want. Here is the world that comes to take its place, as you unbind your mind from little things the world sets forth to keep you prisoner. Value them not, they will disappear. Esteem them, and they will seem real to you. Such is the choice. What loss can be for you in choosing not to value nothingness? This world holds nothing that you really want, but what you choose instead, you want indeed. Let it be given you today. It waits but for your choosing it, to take the place of all the things you seek but do not want. Practice your willingness to make this change 10 minutes in the morning and at night, and once more in between. Begin with this. Beyond this world, there is a world I want. I choose to see that world instead of this, for here is nothing that I really want. Then close your eyes upon the world you see, and in the silent darkness, watch the lights that are not of this world light one by one, until one where one begins another ends, loses all meaning as they blend in one. Today, the lights of heaven bend to you, to shine upon your eyelids as you rest beyond the world of darkness. Here is light your eyes cannot behold, and yet your mind can see it plainly, and can understand. A day of grace is given you today, and we give thanks. This day we realized that what you feared to lose was only loss. Now do we understand there is no loss, for we have seen its opposite at last, and we are grateful that the choice is made. Remember your decision hourly, and take a moment to confirm your choice by laying by whatever thoughts you have, and dwelling briefly only upon this. The world I see holds nothing that I want. Beyond this world, there is a world I want. Beautiful. And Jesus' comments now for lesson 129, Beyond This World. There is a world I want. You are blessed beings, indeed. I am that one you know as Jesus. This time and place on your planet is becoming more and more challenging. You all feel it. You all feel the wavering and wobbling house of cards this world has become for many of you. Perhaps it is a job you go to every day thinking, my goodness, how am I going to continue going to this place for another 20 or 30 years? And your heart breaks at the very thought of it. When stuck in traffic, perhaps commuting to a job, you feel frustration when you drive past green fields and trees and birds sitting on the fences, and you think, oh, to sit under that tree for a little while would be so restful. I am tired. And when you have a family that has difficulties, your children are on their devices, your partner is out somewhere, and you know not where, and you feel that the dream you have been sold was a lie. Many of you are coming to these places. Some of it is through sickness, exhaustion, disillusionment, or just plain unhappiness. You feel increased distortion that becomes less and less tolerable. This lesson is for you. This lesson lets you know you do not have to participate in the world in which you have been taught. You have been taught deeply, and you have been taught long. You must accept what has been done to you. When you accept what has been done to you, you must do something about it. That is why we want you to stick with these lessons. Many of you struggle a little bit with the longer periods of time dedicated to these lessons each day. Some of you feel as if they add a burden to your already burdened lives by having to do this work. But we tell you, if you continue with these lessons, things get easier. You see, where you become involved in dramas that you don't need to become involved in. You see where you make unloving choices for yourself. You see more clearly what you are up to and how you are influenced by those around you to compromise yourself. Mostly, it is through the conditioned trainings you have been subjected to. This is why these lessons are so important. This is you reclaiming your sovereignty. This is you reclaiming your mind and evicting from your mind every unloving thing implanted there. Everything fearful and materialistic implanted by your ruling teachers. We love you very much on this side, and there are many of us here helping you. You walk with great teachers as you do these lessons. There is not just me, but many other beings who assist the shift in consciousness on your planet. We deeply encourage you to keep on with these lessons and aim yourself toward a life of peace, joy, happiness, and love. It is possible for you. It is possible for everyone. I am that one you know as Jesus, and we will speak to you tomorrow. Namaste, precious ones. Peace.